As someone who's sensitive, you must have heard many versions of toughen up, or stop being so sensitive, or stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about. Maybe you didn't know you were that sensitive until people tell you and asking you to be normal. Not many people can share this experience with you, and you feel lonely and you have to deal with things that other people don't realize they are experiencing. Such heavy of a weight on such a little person. And you start blaming yourself for being so sensitive, for feeling too much, caring too much, and being too much. You just want to live a normal life like the rest of the world. So why are you sensitive? Is there any good to being this sensitive? If you are still blaming yourself and wondering why you're even here, I might be able to give you the answer, but it requires us to strip down all the prejudice we have about sensitivity to really understand what it means for you and for the world. Sensitivity is a basic human trait, meaning everyone has sensitivity to a certain extent. It's the ability to perceive sensory inputs from the environment, such as sound, touch, taste, smell, and to process that information. So to think about it, to reflect on it. High sensitivity means heightened perception and deeper processing power. For example, the fire truck's siren could be a normal part of someone's life, but to another person, it can be quite disruptive. To them, it can be loud and can trigger some specific personal memories. Research has shown that there are around 15 to 30% of the people who has high sensitivity. Your sensitivity falls on a spectrum. If you identify yourself as a sensitive person, you may find yourself being at the end of the spectrum or on the higher end of the medium sensitivity. Either way, you're the one who go through what you've gone through. Your experience is valid in itself. If you think you're sensitive, then you're sensitive. People with high sensitivity are usually represented by orchids, a beautiful kind of flowers, but requires a specific condition in order to flourish, as opposed to a more low-maintenance dandelion that can grow anywhere, or the medium-sensitive tulips. Being sensitive had a bad reputation in the past, but ever since Aron coined the term highly sensitive person, sensitivity has become more recognized and appreciated. An experience of a highly sensitive person can be described by DUS. Depth of processing. Someone who is highly sensitive may go into details when they reflect on an experience or think about a certain problem. They might be the people who keeps thinking about the last time they embarrassed themselves. The people who take a really long time just to choose a toothpaste because they're considering the brandings, the prices, the different benefits they can get, whether they've had personal experiences with it or not. This is also why they experience a lot of overstimulation. Anyone can get overstimulated in different situations. Something very normal for a non-HSP person, such as going shopping, can be a highly stimulating activity. When you go shopping at a mall or a market, you're dealing with crowds, a lot of people, a lot of decisions to be made, different products, different people trying to get your attention. And that is why HSP can experience a lot more distress, meltdowns, and frustration. E stands for emotional reactivity and high empathy. HSPs are reported to react more strongly to both positive and negative experiences than their peers. This is why a lot of HSP don't really watch action movies, because seeing the actors being hit on screen can really hurt them. They are also great at sensing the subtlety. They are equipped with a special ability to notice a certain smell or the energy of the room. This is different from person to person, but an HSP might have a problem eating some food because of its texture or smell. So, why are you sensitive? From what I've seen, HSP is an innate trait, meaning you have it right away from birth. So it's genetics, or it could be trauma from the utero. People who are born as a highly sensitive person or has the tendency to develop high sensitivity, if they were to be born in a high-stress environment, lack of support from their upbringing, then later in life, they will struggle with emotional regulations and high reactivity. But the same people who are prone to high sensitivity, if they're born into a supportive environment with moderate stress, their sensitivity might not be a problem, and they can actually respond really well with a positive environment. There are also people who may not be HSP, but they struggle with high sensitivity because of their early and developmental trauma. Each person who labels themselves as sensitive has a different experience. So if your experience has led you to think that you are a sensitive person, even only in comparison to the people around you, then you are sensitive. But what are we talking about? Knowing the source to your sensitivity doesn't really help. You'll still experience difficulties in your life that no one can share. And it's not like you can turn your sensitivity off, and I'm sure many people have tried. But you find yourself still different and unsatisfied because you're not supposed to be other people, you're supposed to be you. So we've come to the real question right here. Why are you sensitive? Why is anybody in the world sensitive? I'm not gonna tell you to just accept yourself for no reason. We're not here to do that. But if sensitivity is a human trait, then there has to be a reason it survives evolution, right? There are a lot of people who are like you, so it's proof that there is at least some usage to your sensitivity. As human beings, being sensitive helps us protect our species. Sensitivity is the one thing that helps us to identify threats in an environment, and maybe that's why after eons, our sensitivity still survives evolution. After all, high sensitivity has been seen across over 100 non-human species. Maybe when you're mad, sad, upset, you can't see how it helps you. It has only hurt you and made your life way more difficult than it's supposed to be. But maybe when you're calmer, or maybe you have someone who's sensible who can remind you, your sensitivity has helped you a lot. It keeps you safe by giving you the ability to notice more things in the environment than other people. It helps you to discern, helps you choose the best course of action for your own situation. It helps you to connect with other people, to understand very deeply what they're going through and the emotions they are dealing with. It helps you to appreciate the beauty of life, to notice the things that go unnoticed by a lot of people. HSP is an asset to the society. They are your policymakers who reinforce restrictions on smoking, air pollution, noise, who fight for higher quality products. It is your activists who advocates for a better planet, who fights for humans, animals, the environment, people who call for less wars, less destruction. They are your nurses, people who take care of you, who know what makes you more comfortable, who can create a loving environment for you. They're also artists, poets, counselors, healers. The world would be missing a lot without your sensitivity. because you are one of the people who make the world a little bit more enjoyable and beautiful. So now you're probably thinking, that's nice and all, but I'm still not happy being sensitive. I'm not those people. My sensitivity has only brought troubles to my life, and how is this my superpower? I understand that a lot of us are still struggling with the daily breakdowns, the overstimulation, the feeling of being too much, and being scared of the little threats instead of using your sensitivity into something useful. If the orchid wilts, you don't blame the orchid. You study what it needs and work to give it the right condition where it can thrive. Your sensitivity is not the problem. All you need to do is to understand yourself so deeply that you can build the life that is compatible for you. It might take you a while to experiment. You don't know what's good and bad for you until you go through it, right? But I want you to do the very important first step. That is to thank your sensitivity. In a busy world that has become more and more stimulating every day, there is a need for your sensitivity. For people who can discern, who can draw the line between collective growth and growing despite the collective. For people who understand and can point out what truly matters in a noisy world. Thank you to sensitivity for keeping us safe, for feeling too much, needing too much, caring too much, because maybe being too much is just enough. Thanks to you, a lot of people feel less alone in their struggles. For feeling the things that people don't feel. You've done so much, taking on the responsibility and feelings of other people. Now it's time you learn to embrace yourself and your sensitivity more than anything in the world. Only by loving, protecting, and caring for yourself can you love, protect, and care for others. So thank you for being here with me, and best of luck on your journey to become your best sensitive self.